Hi, my name is Abhinav Sridharan, and I am the president of the Plano Senior High School Speech and Debate Team. Today, we will be learning how to judge extemporaneous speaking. In a high school speech and debate tournament, there are two types of extemporaneous speaking. The first one is foreign extemporaneous speaking, and the second is domestic extemporaneous speaking. In a common tournament, you will probably hear these events pronounced as FX and DX in order to represent the event's names. In extemporaneous speaking, the two different denominations have two different categories. In domestic extemp, the topics are related and limited just towards the United States and nothing else. You will have topics ranging from US politics all the way to our energy and technology. The topics can be almost about anything as long as it's related to current events. Similarly, foreign extemporaneous speaking is about anything in the entire world, including the United States as well. Regardless of whichever extemporaneous speaking event you are chosen to judge, you will have a good time, because both topics and both topic areas cover things that the average person should know. And if you don't know it, then your student is going to inform you about it. In order for you to successfully judge extemporaneous speaking, it's important to know what's happening behind the scenes. A student typically draws 3 topics and picks one of them. After this happens, they have 30 minutes to prepare this topic. This makes extemporaneous speaking a limited preparation event. So unlike other oral interpretation events, like original oratory, extemp has a much more extemporaneous tone, hence the name. So here's what a typical extemporaneous speaking ballot is going to look like. If you're in foreign extemp, then it's going to read foreign, and if you're in domestic, it will say domestic. Besides that, the two ballots are exactly the same. The first thing that you should do as a judge when you walk into the room is find a good and comfortable location to sit. After that, you will have a previous list of speakers that will be speaking in a specific order. Unless the tournament director says otherwise, this order should be the same. Sometimes there may be drops and you will be notified in that specific scenario. When the first speaker comes to speak in the room, the first thing that you should do is fill out all the information in this part of the ballot. The contestant's name should be printed here, the school code should be given as well as the speaker number, section, round, and topic question. If you're wondering where the topic question comes from, don't worry about it. Your speaker should bring the question to you in his or her hand, as they will have the slip from the draw room that they were preparing their speech for 30 minutes. In extemporaneous speaking, speeches are limited to 7 minutes. You do have a 30-second grace period, but typically speakers try not to exceed that grace period, as if they do, this may result in disqualification from the tournament director. As a judge, it's your duty to provide time signals. If you do not provide time signals, you do have the option to say that on the ballot. Time signals are traditionally provided as 5 down, meaning when you have 5 minutes left, you will hold a 5 for the speaker, then a 4, then a 3, then a 2, a 1, 30 to indicate 30 seconds left, and most importantly, a fist at 7 minutes to indicate that the speaker has finally elapsed all their allotted time and now are entering their grace period. If, as a judge, you decide you do not want to give time signals, then you can go ahead and let the speaker know, as the speaker has the discretion to speak however long they want. However, once again, this should be noted on the ballot. Typically, speakers should receive time signals and you should at least give them 3 down. But it's always up to the discretion of you as the judge. Extemporaneous speaking ballots are nice in the sense that they give a good criteria of how to evaluate an extemporaneous speaker. The many categories include analysis and content, introduction, organization, supporting materials, style, and oral presentation. Analysis and content refers to the arguments and the other logical analysis that the speaker provides. This is subjective, but it's pretty apparent which speaker provides the best argument and analysis in the round. In order for you to fairly adjudicate this, you might want to write some major arguments or points of contention that the speaker brings up in his or her speech. The introduction is also extremely important, as it decides how captivating the speaker is from just the first 30 or 1 minute of speaking. Just make sure that the speaker is interesting and also provides some attention. Organization just shows whether or not the speaker is organized with his or her materials and also has good sources. This leads us right into supporting materials. In extemporaneous speaking, you will see a variety of different speakers with different sources. But one of the main signs of a good extempor is that they always bring in sources to cite their materials. So if they bring up a statistic or a number, they have to make sure that they cite another source. For example, the New York Times, as long as a date as well. In a typical extemporaneous speaking round, it will be fairly easy to differentiate who is citing the sources correctly and who isn't citing sources to begin with. Style is also important, but every speaker has a different style, so that's up to you to decide who has the best style in the room. An oral presentation refers to the overall communication aspect of the speech, and whether or not they communicated clearly and effectively. At the end of the day, it is your decision as a judge to say who did the best and who did the worst. But make sure you write critiques that are constructive feedback and help the speaker improve next time. If you feel that there is a lot of things for the speaker to improve, try to be nice and always give them a compliment, as this will incentivize and motivate the speaker for the future. At the end of the round, it's time for you to rank the speakers in the room. For example, if there are 6 speakers in the room, you will only use 1 through 6 and ignore 7 and 8. The best speaker in the room should receive the 1 on the ballot. The worst speaker should receive the lowest number that's available for the amount of speakers in the room. If a speaker happens to not show up for their speech, then you will circle no show on their ballot. During the speaker's speech, make sure to write down any comments or critiques that can help them get better in their speaking. If you don't have any comments, go ahead and mention something so you have constructive criticism and feedback. If you do run out of room, simply flip the ballot over and start writing on the back of the page. This will be totally fine, and the speaker will definitely appreciate your extra comments. So that's it for judging extemporaneous speaking. It should be a fun and enjoyable event to judge. And sometimes, even if you're confused, let the speaker do the job in explaining something. And if you still are confused, then go ahead and write them on the ballot. Judging extemporaneous speaking is a learning process, and you will get better as you go. So I hope you have fun next time when you judge at your first tournament. And make sure to watch the sample video